1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All cars are now underway for event number 16, the final speed car race on the pre-Easter season calendar here at the Sydney Showground circuit. 19 cars will start in this evening's 50-lap derby. Pole car will be 77, Terry Weinhardt. Position 2 will be car number 12, driven by Al Staples. Behind them will come Walbrooker, Laurie Seidel, plus many of Australia's top speed car drivers to contend this, the longest race for speed cars staged at the Sydney Showground 1/3 of a mile circuit. The cars now moving up into their respective starting positions. We should see a start next time around. Car 77 is the pole car, driven by Terry Weinhardt. In position 2 is Al Staples in car 12. Behind him, Walbrooker in 29, Laurie Seidel in 44. Behind them in car number 61 comes Sid Middlemiss. Our South Australian visitor, Bill Kerno, in car number 4. Fearless Mannion in car 88, Sid Reed in number 3. Johnny Peers, his final event, in car number 20. On the outside of Peers will start Sid Clark in car 51. Behind them, Brian Cunneen, Johnny Stewart, Len Brock, Peter Cunneen, Kevin Park, Lou Marshall, and backmarker Jeff Freeman in car 75. This race is also vitally important to both Peter Cunneen and Lou Marshall, as the Craven Filter 1,200-pound national championship is now drawing to a close. Lou Marshall is leading 5 points ahead of Peter Cunneen. Tonight's race could decide the winner of the Craven Filter 1,200-pound championship. They head for the wire. 50 laps, rolling start. The green lights are flashing and the race is on. There's a mix-up in the first corner. Brian Mannion gets up in the air, manages to stay on the ground and does not slip, but is off the track. The leader out of the top corner is Al Staples from Terry Weinhardt. Then comes Paul Brooker, followed by Sid Middleman, Laurie Seidel, Bill Kerno. Sid Clark goes up very high to the top of the track. Then comes Sid Reed. On the outside, Brian Cunneen, followed by Len Brock, Johnny Stewart. Then comes Peter Cunneen. Behind them comes Kevin Park and Lou Marshall. They're into the top turn for the second time around, and it's Al Staples leading Terry Weinhardt from Paul Brooker. Next at hand comes car 61, Sid Middleman, followed by car number 51, Sid Clark. On the outside, Sid Reed passes Laurie Seidel. Next at hand, the South Australian Kerno. On the inside of Kerno comes Brian Cunneen. Stewart on the outside passes Brian Cunneen. Sid fell after Kerno. Further back then to Peter Cunneen, followed by Len Brock and Lou Marshall. Once more down the back straightaway, and it's Al Staples locally now has set up a commanding lead from car number 77, Terry Weinhardt. There's action at the back as Johnny Stewart breaks clear from Laurie Seidel. Following in suit at the moment would be Brian Cunneen, Peter Cunneen. Then comes Kerno. Behind them, Lou Marshall. Dotted then on the outside by Len Brock. As they move into the back straightaway, it's Staples the leader. Al Staples well clear of Terry Weinhardt. Next at hand on the outside comes Walbrooker. Then comes car 51, Sid Clark. Behind them, Middlemiss in 61, followed by car number 3, Sid Reed. Then comes Johnny Stewart in car number 1, the McGee Shell track burner. They move to the bottom turn and Staples is out of the race. Al Staples has withdrawn. The leader is car number 77, Terry Weinhardt from car number 51. Now Sid Clark moved into position 2. Third would be Sid Reed in car number 3, followed by Brooker, Brian Cunneen, Sid Middleman, and Johnny Stewart. Behind Stewart as they move through the pit bend is Len Brock trying desperately to bridge the gap to the leaders. Up the main straightaway they go. Brian Cunneen, Peter Cunneen, both driving desperately at this stage. They're into the top turn and all these cars are bunched together. The 3 leaders, Terry Weinhardt, Sid Clark and Sid Reed. Behind them, hotly pursuing, comes car 29, Walbrooker on the outside is Brian Cunneen. Then comes Len Brock on the inside is car 61, Sid Middlemiss. Stewart sneaks through on the inside of Brock, challenging on the outside of Peter Cunneen as they move to the top turn. There's nothing between the leaders in this race. The first 10 cars locked together. Into the back stretch they go, and it's Weinhardt now being taken by Sid Clark. On the outside, Sid Reed looking for third. Fourth at the moment comes Brooker, then comes Peter Cunneen, driving brilliantly. On the inside, Marshall moves in behind Peter Cunneen. Behind them comes car 61, Middlemiss followed by Johnny Stewart, Brian Cunneen, Len Brock, and Jeff Freeman. Can Peter Cunneen make it? Cunneen trying desperately now to bridge the gap to Sid Clark, who is the leader. Cunneen stuck in position 3 behind Sid Reed. Fourth at the moment is Lou Marshall trying desperately to get through to catch Peter Cunneen. Guns aplenty up the main straightaway with Black. Has a commanding lead moving through the top corner. On the inside into position 2 comes Peter Cunneen. Cunneen is now second. Sid Reed third. Lou Marshall fourth. One of the most thrilling speedcar races staged at the Sydney Showground throughout this 1965 season. Out of the top turn, Black's the leader. Desperately trying to bridge that gap. It could mean the Craven for the 1200-pound national championship to this veteran of speedway racing. Cunneen desperately now moving down, cutting the track fine, getting through the corners on the low end. Where's his main competitor? It's Lou Marshall, who's now moved past Sid Reed into position 3. Holy heck, what a race with Clark. Commanding lead still from Peter Cunneen in the M&D Motor Special. Third a fair way back would be car 54, Lou Marshall, followed by Brian Cunneen, Johnny Stewart and Jeff Freeman. The race will undoubtedly be fought out of these 9 or so cars, with Clark commanding the field at this moment from Peter Cunneen, Lou Marshall, then comes car 55, Brian Cunneen, who's moved through on Stewart and Jeff Freeman. Moves up on the inside of Johnny Stewart as they move out of the pit bend and up the main straightaway. Fails to pass. Stewart retains position 5. They're into the pit bend once more, and it's Peter Cunneen bit by bit closing this gap. Can he make the distance? Can he pass the track and take the lead? Lou Marshall breathing down Cunneen's neck at this stage, a matter of 20 yards or so behind. Another duel of great intensity is car. One Johnny Stewart dueling with Jeff Freeman. Freeman passes Stewart in the main straightaway. It's Clark, nothing between Clark and Peter Cunneen, and a little further back is car 54, Lou Marshall. Cunneen rides high out of the top turn towards the main straightaway. Cunneen, Marshall, nothing between them. Cunneen moves through the pit bend, the front inside wheel, lifting from the ground as he moves through on the inside of Clark. Clark retains the lead up the main straightaway, into the top turn, wheel to wheel, nothing between them, absolutely locked together. It's Clark leading Cunneen. One Marshall has now moved up right behind Peter Cunneen. The Craven for the 500-pound championship could be decided tonight. Can they keep the beat going? It's Clark, Cunneen, Marshall, further back to Brian Cunneen. Out of the pit bend, Clark rides high. Cunneen takes the inside run, still doesn't pass. They move to the top corner, and Bill Turner is slowed down. Sid Clark manages to miss him. All cars now safely left this driver. The South Australian withdraws from the track, but Peter Cunneen has lost ground to Sid Clark. Once more in the main straightaway, it's Clark setting a blistering pace. Peter Cunneen, Lou Marshall, Brian Cunneen, and then comes Jeff Freeman as the order behind. A two-car accident coming out of the pit bend and up the main straightaway. One car in the accident is definitely Sid Clark. Clark appeared to be to latch onto the back of another car, spun half sideways, and then mounted the car, coming down upside down, and in doing so, bringing the car with him upside down. Two cars upside down at this stage. I don't know who the other driver is. Brian Cunneen, very quick thinking, moved around the outside of the tangle and managed to avoid being involved. Well, the ambulance has taken Sid Clark and Terry Weinhardt to hospital following a two-car accident. The field has now dwindled down for the restart, but boy, should this be an exciting 27 laps. Our leader in car number 4 is Peter Cunneen. Peter Cunneen, who desperately needs at least 5 points over Lou Marshall to stand a chance over the next fortnight in Brisbane of winning the Craven Filter 1,200-pound Speed Car Championship. The big threat in this race could come from Jeff Freeman in car 75, the Offenhauser, who's moving through the field very quickly, but he's behind 2 of the experts. He's yet to pass Peter Cunneen, Lou Marshall, and Brian Cunneen. These 3 drivers can all hold Freeman at bay. And it'll be interesting to see what transpires over the next 27 laps. Throttles open, they head for the wire. The red flag is still on, the race is not on. This will give me an opportunity to run quickly through the remaining cars in the field. It's Peter Cunneen, right in behind Cunneen is Marshall, close behind Brian Cunneen, then Freeman, Len Brock, Kevin Park, further back to Sid Middleman in car 61, Johnny Pearce, the retiring veteran, in car 20, and at the rear of the field, car 44, Laurie Seidel. Out of the pit then, they wind up towards the starter, and boy is this out of line. Peter Cunneen was in position, naturally position 1. Jeff Freeman being pulled back at this stage. Brian Cunneen also moved around the outside of Lou Marshall. Can Cunneen go the distance? Marshall is just that keen to win this championship. Who knows? The next 5 minutes will decide the winner. The green lights are flashing, the race is on. Cunneen got away to a good start from Marshall. Marshall sitting in position 2. Then comes Brian Cunneen. Freeman sliding in the lead. Down the back straight away, into the bottom corner. And it's powerful. Peter Cunneen, the M&D Motors Holden, wheeling out ahead of Lou Marshall in the SO Wells Holden. Further back then, falling behind in car 55 is Brian Cunneen. On the outside, the top of the track is Jeff Freeman, followed by Len Brock. Once more, and that's that inside front wheel of Peter Cunneen lifting from the ground, very noticeably off the ground as he wheels up the main straightaway under the green lights with 26 laps to go. It's Cunneen driving masterful style in car number 4 down the back straight. Cunneen at this stage looking very safe. Lou Marshall now being caught by Brian Cunneen. This could be a double for the brothers. Peter and Brian Cunneen taking positions 1 and 2 if Brian is successful in passing Marshall. Freeman flying forward at this stage and not making much of an impression. Behind Freeman comes Len Brock and then Kevin Park. Up the main straightaway, Brian Cunneen has caught Lou Marshall. Marshall getting the SO Wells Holden, all the gun it's got as they move out of the top turn into the backstretch. Track now, cutting down to go through the pit bend, sideways in the pit bend, front wheel once more off the ground, up the main straightaway. Coming down now as they move to the top turn, coming through. He's opened up quite a lead now from Lou Marshall. Marshall's car slackening off. Will bypass Peter Cunneen at this stage. The duel at the moment is between Brian Cunneen and Lou Marshall. Marshall lost a lot of ground now. Cunneen would have a good 70 yards lead as they move out of the top turn and down the backstretch. Through the pit corner they go. It's Lou Marshall, Brian Cunneen and Jeff Freeman. These positions could alter over the next 23 laps or so. Peter Cunneen still well clear through the top turn. Brian Cunneen desperately trying to get through on the inside of Marshall. The Cunneen brothers definitely supplying the action here tonight at Showground Royal. Nose to tail, Lou Marshall and Brian Cunneen. Through the top turn they go. Cunneen goes very high, loses ground. Freeman's through on the inside. Into the backstretch. Cunneen cuts down. Freeman side by side as they go to the pit. Cunneen manages to hold Freeman at bay, but has lost ground to Lou Marshall. Lou Marshall holding second place safely for the time being. The duel now is between Brian Cunneen and Jeff Freeman. Cunneen leaves the Offenhauser. Brian Cunneen, that is, leaves the Offenhauser in the main straightaway. moving through the top turn and picking up ground once more to Lou Marshall. Lou Marshall, surprisingly enough, has now made up ground on Peter Cunneen. This pace can't continue for the rest of the event. It's Peter Cunneen, Lou Marshall, Brian Cunneen, Jeff Freeman, and further back to Len Brock. I notice looking through the field that the veteran Johnny Pierce has withdrawn. Freeman now charging underneath Brian Cunneen. He's not having much success though. Cunneen's got his eyes glued to the back of car 54. Freeman makes the break through the pit turn. Wheel to wheel with Brian Cunneen. Cunneen manages to go to the top of the track to hold him, but Freeman is through. Boy, what will happen from here? It's Peter Cunneen, Lou Marshall, Jeff Freeman, Brian Cunneen. Freeman has the race of his life ahead of him. If Freeman can master this by winning this event, passing Lou Marshall and Peter Cunneen, he's showing his mark as a driver. He's against two of the top veterans. Up the main straightaway. The big guns are closing in on Cunneen. It's Cunneen further back to Marshall now doing wheel to wheel with Freeman and Brian Cunneen pushing through. Freeman had better make an impression very smartly on Lou Marshall, or else Brian Cunneen is there waiting for the chance. What a race. Len Brock has now joined the fray, moving up behind Brian Cunneen. Through the top corner they go. The M&D Motors holding the yellow and red one of Peter Cunneen's glistening under the light. Cunneen driving the race of his life. The 50-lap championship is in his grasp. Second, 30 yards behind is Lou Marshall, the SOL Holden pouring on the gas. Freeman trying to bridge the gap. Freeman now moves underneath Marshall. Marshall comes down very quickly. Into the top turn they go. Freeman now around the outside, running parallel to Marshall into the backstretch. Freeman and Marshall lock together as they move through the pit bend out of the main straightaway. 7 laps to go, I understand, as Peter Cunneen wheels into the top turn, manoeuvring the Midgets towards the back straightaway, clear of Lou Marshall and Jeff Freeman. 6 laps to go. Peter Cunneen, the 50-lap championship now well within his range as he moves into the backstretch. Marshall still holding down second from Freeman, Brian Cunneen and Len Brock. The other cars still are Kevin Park, Sid Middlemas and Laurie Seidel. Freeman now really got the gas on trying to pass Marshall. Cunneen taking it easy, got the foot down hard but driving a beautiful line out of the pit bend and up the main straightaway. It's only a matter of 2 or 3 laps to go. Freeman now strong to the charge on the outside of Marshall. Freeman is around the outside of Marshall. Marshall cutting down quickly. Freeman has moved into position number 2. The race is drawing to a close. It's Peter Cunneen leading now from the Offenhauser. The Offenhauser charging up for Cunneen. What a tense moment. Laurie Seidel draws to the top of the track and withdraws from the event. Only a matter of laps to go now. Very few laps to go. The red lights are on and the race has been stopped. Well, what a crucial place to stop a race. The race was stopped because Laurie Seidel in car 44 brushed with the fence in the pit corner and tried to run the car off. off the track after the field had passed, but unfortunately couldn't do so and the car got stuck on the track. So the red lights have been brought on. Cars have been asked to hold their position. Cunneen and Freeman now desperate. Marshall holding down third. Brian Cunneen in fourth spot and Lenbrock back. They're racing once more. There's Cunneen. Cunneen got a bad start from Freeman. Freeman already charging after Cunneen as they move through the top turn and down the back straightaway. Then Brian, Peter Cunneen holds Freeman at bay. Through the pit bend and Jeff Freeman now trying on the inside of Cunneen. The crowd have gone wild. There's only one left to go. They move to the top corner. It's Peter Cunneen and Freeman who walk together. Down the back stretch, towards the bottom corner the final time around. It's Peter Cunneen heading for victory from Jeff Freeman. They go to the wall. Nothing between them, locked together. It's Peter Cunneen hands. What a fantastic finish. Peter Cunneen the victor in the 50 lap championship. Second place going to Freeman. Third to Lou Marshall. Fourth Brian Cunneen and fifth home Lenbrock. The only other car to finish, Kevin Park in car 66.